Here we go. Yeah, parkour. All right, live. Hello, welcome. This is Metro South Virtual Classes, Parkour and Freerunning Level 3. This is our most advanced class. I'm going to be going over some things today that you should already know, but I'm going to explain them as we go so that it's entertaining and it's informational and it's fun. But just be aware, I'm not going to be going into any in-depth, crazy explanations about this stuff. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you guys should know what I'm talking about. Cool. I'll explain it a bit. First things first, you're going to need a lot of space. We're going to be going over falling today. All right. A little thing called Ukemi. I'll explain what that is in a little bit, and we'll get into it. So I'm outside. I got some nice soft grass. That's perfect. If you're not outside, find something soft, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. You only need a mat, Pilates mat, yoga mat, gymnastics panel mat. I couldn't think of the word. Pillows, mattress, futon mattress, whatever you may have, carpeted floor, okay? Just try to avoid anything super hard. For a warm-up, please get started on any extra warm-up that you need to do, because I know that you Parkour 3 guys need a little bit of extra with some mobility stuff in our hips or shoulders, whatever it may be, okay? One thing I want you to focus on is our wrists, so I'm going to start warming up my wrists while I talk, all right? We're going to be using our wrists to catch ourselves kind of in certain different ways, so please warm them up, all right? We can do our warm-up on the ground here, where we go fingers facing forwards, and we can roll in circles, all right? And rolling around in circles, and switch directions. Good. Now make your fingers face each other, rocking side to side, side to side. Cool. Now turn your hands around, fingers facing in, rolling in circles again, stretching out our wrists, trying to get them all warmed up. And then let's put our hands flat so that our backs of our palms are on the ground. Our palms are facing the sky. We're rolling with gentle pressure. Don't hurt your wrist, please. Moving back and forth, keeping yourself up. Nicely done. All right, shake them out. Cool. Next thing, let's move our shoulders, all right? I want you to do shoulder roll. So rolling your circles in a I can't talk today, okay? Rolling our shoulders in a circle, going backwards, warming them up, and rolling forwards. And then if you can, try to get one to go backwards, one to go forwards. This is actually a lot harder to do with your shoulders than it is with just your arms, okay? And switch directions, one going forwards, one going backwards. All right, and let's do a little twist. Cool. Next, mobility. Let's go down into our full squat here, our resting squat, our mobility squat. Let's call it a mobility squat because we're down low. I'm not sitting on the ground, but I'm as close to the ground as I can. My weight is in my heels, not in my toes, okay? Rocking side to side. If this is hard, take your legs a little bit wider. It might be a little bit easier. If you need to find something to put your back against to keep your balance, go ahead and do that. Rocking side to side. And now we're going to put our weight on one leg. We're going to take the other leg and stick it out straight. We're going to rock to the other side. And rock back. Just opening up our hips, okay? We're rocking back and forth, staying nice and low. You can do it without your hands on the ground. Let's try that. Okay, rocking side to side, keeping our hips low. Cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Ukemi. It's Ukemi. It is I believe it's a Japanese word for falling. It comes from martial arts. That being said, one of the most important things about parkour is knowing how to fall. At this point in our advanced level class, you guys should know that already. You do a lot more falling than you do landing. all right? Unless you're Ryan. And then everybody gets jealous when you're coaches. Come on, Ryan, stop being so good. Just kidding. Keep being good. No, all you guys are great. You're all doing really well. But you should know falling over is like what parkour is all about. So we're just going to go over a little review of the methods of falling over. Okay, so bear with me here. We'll do each 5 times. Pretty simple. We're going to go through it. So pause the video if you need any extra warm-up and go ahead and get to that. But it's going to be kind of like a warm-up in itself. All right. So standing up tall. I have my mat out here just to keep the grass contained. All right. First thing is our shoulder roll. We're falling forwards. We can catch ourselves with our hands, roll over our shoulder. You guys should know this one, okay? Let's do this 5 times, okay? Reaching, rolling, standing up. Reaching, rolling, standing up. If you want to pretend that you tripped, go ahead and walk towards the mat. Trip, whoa, and roll, okay? Maybe it's like a movie and you really got like hit in the stomach and you're like, right? I don't know. All right, 5 times for this roll. Maybe you're like stumbling all over the place. You're really dizzy, and then you start to roll. Cool. So that's our shoulder roll. Obviously, we should know this one. Sometimes the shoulder roll doesn't quite work out, and we have to do our forwards roll. How do we do our forwards roll for safety? It becomes really arms heavy, so that means that we're catching ourselves with our arms. We're rolling straight over our head, so we really need to lower ourselves onto our back, like so, okay? I'm not just putting my hands on the ground for show. They're actually holding myself as I come towards the ground, and it softens the roll a ton, okay? So I'm slowing down, tucking in my chin, and rolling, all right? Do this a few more times. Normal forwards roll here. Okay, again, if we're tripping and you're like, whoa. All right, cool. Slightly different, but almost the same. The side roll. How does the side roll work? A side roll starts forwards or sideways, and instead of going over your shoulder, you're aiming for the side of your body here. So you're coming in here, going a little more sideways, and ending up sideways, okay? You can do this on both sides. So we're here, sideways, ending sideways, okay? So we'll try this a couple times back and forth. So you're standing up, we're going sideways over our body, and coming this way. Let me do one towards you so you can kind of see that. I'm here, I'm going sideways, and coming up here. Now this move is really good for if I'm falling over to the side. So I'm tripping, I'm falling, I can sideways roll, and I'm still okay. This move is also really good for harder surfaces. So if you're like on concrete, you can kind of combine it with your shoulder roll and tweak it a little bit to make it, a little safer. So let me show you. Here's my normal shoulder roll. Ready? This is my normal shoulder roll coming straight towards you. All right, here's my tweaked shoulder roll that turns into a little bit more of a side roll. What I did was I rolled more sideways across my back. So it basically it kind of cuts down on the amount of time that you're on the ground. And it also changes the path so that your hips stay clear and you don't bang your back, okay? That reminds me, I forgot to tell you to do your shoulder roll on your opposite side. So let's rewind. You need to do shoulder roll on your bad side. So normally I go over my right shoulder, I'm gonna go over my left. All right, we're gonna do this 5 times. We all should be practicing both sides of these movements, okay? Why? Well, it's exactly what I've been talking about. For safety. If you're falling, sometimes you don't get to decide which side you're gonna put down, okay? Sometimes you just need to react. And if your body is only used to reacting in one way, which is putting down my right shoulder, when I need to put down my left, I'm not going to know how. All right? So I need to practice both of these things. Same with the side rolls. We've done them on both sides. Very similar to the side roll. Really goofy as well. You're not going to believe it. Log roll, right? Okay. Why would I ever need to do a log roll? Well, I can't think of a reason right now, but I can guarantee you it's going to happen to you at one point if you continue training. Okay. Let's just imagine we land something and we're crazy low and we're kind of falling to the side. We got to do a log roll, okay? I don't know. Sometimes it happens after another roll. So I have so much speed and I end up doing this crazy shoulder roll into a log roll, okay? So let's practice the log roll, both sides. Start from standing, falling down, and rolling, or starting down low like this, maybe even starting down here, straightening out and rolling, okay? These rolls are all about just dispersing our momentum or our weight across a distance so that we don't end up smashing into the ground. So here you go. Here's an example of why I would need to log roll. Let's say I hit the ground like this. I'm off balance and I'm falling towards my back. I have two options here. I can slam onto my back and it doesn't feel good, or I can try to lower and log roll. Okay? There you go. There's an example of Ukemi coming into play. I'm extending that impact into a movement, and it takes away a ton of the impact and a ton of the danger. Okay, moving to our backwards plane. We're going to do backwards shoulder roll. So that one is coming across our body, rolling over the shoulder. So here, rolling back sideways. A good way to practice this one, if it's a little bit confusing, is do the forwards roll and then stand up and go straight backwards again. So ready? Forwards, backwards. If you, for some reason, we're tuning into the lower level parkour classes, we discussed just the backwards shoulder roll. Now we're talking all the rolls. So again, you can start like this if you want. Go forwards, go backwards, or we can start up and we're lowering down and doing the backward shoulder roll. This one is also important to practice. You got it. On both sides. Let's see if I can do it. I struggle with this one a whole bunch. Yeah, there we go. Now, if you're struggling like me to do the backward shoulder roll on both sides, start with the forwards roll, or the shoulder roll. So my good side's my right shoulder. Looks like this. I'm up. I'm up again. If I switch sides and I do my left shoulder going forwards, it's a lot easier to get my left shoulder while I'm going backwards, okay? Make sense? Cool. Yeah, that's the back shoulder roll. Practice that a whole bunch on both sides, because again, sometimes your body needs to fall to one side, and you don't get to choose which shoulder you want to go over. In the gym, we tend to choose left or right, but outside, sometimes that's not an option. So practice both of those. Next one going backwards is going to be the normal backwards roll, gymnastics roll. Normally we would want to avoid this because it's our head hitting the ground, but it's a good thing to practice. Here's how to avoid your head hitting the ground. As you roll backwards, instead of just putting your hands here on the side, put your hands actually behind your head here. Keep your elbows in, all right? So as I sit back, I'm putting my hands in the way of my head to keep my head from smashing. And I'm tucking in my chin really hard, keep myself from banging again, okay? So round shape, sit down, reach back. Once you get to here, it's a huge push with your arms, okay? So let's try the backwards roll a few more times. Sitting back, pushing, all right? This one is not recommended for safety. It is purely for style, but sometimes you need it. So practice that one, and then practice that one in combination with doing a few shoulder rolls, and really feel the difference between a backwards roll and a back shoulder roll, okay? They're good to practice together because then you can tweak it and feel what really makes a difference between the two. Okay. Let me think. We've gone over shoulder roll, forward roll, side roll, log roll, back shoulder roll, backwards roll. Is there anything else that we can do in our Ukemi class? Break falls. Okay, good point. If you're falling backwards, you guys should know this already. If we're falling over backwards, we never, ever, ever reach our hands behind us because that's a good way to break our elbow or our wrist. Instead, we roll, or we could do what's called a break fall. A break fall is something you learn in martial arts. It's as you come down, boom, you slap the ground. The idea is that if I fall over, that slap is going to stop a ton of my momentum, okay? So I'm going boom into the ground, we're falling over backwards, slapping the ground sideways, not behind me. So I'm not reaching back like this. I'm slapping down like this, boom, boom, into the ground, okay? That's called a break fall. So as you're falling over, slap the ground. It steals a whole bunch of your momentum. You can even try going fast. It's still slapping, and you'll see that it actually does work, all right? Now, these also work in a few different directions, so fool around with it, right? Rolling sideways. It's all kind of funny. All right? It's just another way to slap and stop our momentum. Okay, here's our scenario. You're jumping off of something. There's not enough space to roll, but you need to eat up some of the momentum. How do you do that? A break fall, but going forwards this time. So you've probably done it. You've probably seen people do it. They jump off, they land, and they slap the ground, okay? So you're doing a full absorption of the impact with your legs, and then you're giving that extra slap there. It may look a little funny, but it actually is helping to push, because what you're doing is you're using your weight to push. Now, when you do this, make sure you're not hyperextending your arms to the point where they're totally straight. That's how you're gonna end up hurting yourself. And make sure you're not slapping super strong on concrete. It'll be more of an absorb in that sense. So in parkour, we don't necessarily do break fall, like boom, slap. We're gonna end up kind of catching the ground a little bit more. All right, and you'll see people do that when they do flips or jumps, and they land and do a break fall there. Cool. Staying off the ground now. Let's say the ground is covered in mud, and we don't want to get our clothes all dirty because we're in our nice clothes. What would you do? Falling forwards, we have two options. We have a ground Kong and a side Kong. So jumping forwards, ground Kong out, okay? Jump, land, Konging out. Basically, you're reaching out like you're gonna do a roll, but then before you hit that roll position, pushing yourself. A little bit better than the ground Kong is gonna be your side Kong. So landing, side Konging out, doing it again, landing, side Konging out. Cool. Now let's say we're going backwards there. How do we stay off the ground? Remember, we're never reaching behind us, but we can turn and reach. Because when we turn and reach, it changes what our arm does. If we reach straight back like this and our hand turns backwards, it's really hard for our elbow to bend the way that it wants to. If we can turn our chest and reach to the side instead, we get that elbow bend, okay? So you can think about this like your side roll, except for now we're coming backwards. We're here, we're turning to the side almost as if we were gonna roll, but instead we're gonna do almost like a macaco, reaching over. So ready? We're here, we're falling backwards, macaco. Okay, we could try this on the other side too. We're here falling backwards, macaco. Now it may look like I'm reaching backwards, but I'm not. I'm actually reaching sideways. My body turns as I reach. And that's what's gonna keep this safe, okay? So I'm falling over backwards, reaching and turning. Cool. Try that out, both sides, turn. Macaco out, macaco out. Okay? And there you go. Want to take some weight off your arm? Make it a cartwheel. That leads into wagon wheels. You land with a lot of force going forwards. You can reach like a side cone and then do like a little cartwheel out. I've seen dozens of people do this. It's like boom, little cartwheel out. Okay? It's the opposite of what we were doing, but now we're going forwards. And then our last thing is going to be the bounce back. What do you think? Bounce back is a hard one to teach at home, kind of. I can do it. Ready? Here we go. We'll do it on the ground first. The way the bounce back works is essentially you're jumping to something and you don't quite make it. So imagine you're jumping from one object to the next. You land with your feet on the wall, but you don't make it on top. Instead, you have to fall back. That right there is called the bounce back. So as you're landing, you start to fall backwards. What you're going to do is you're going to lean your chest forward and you're going to push with your feet to let them drop down to the ground. So you're pushing and rotating, pushing and rotating. It's basically like this. Ready? We hit, we collapse, we're falling backwards, push and jump to bounce ourselves back. So what we can try is we can do a small jump forwards, start to fall backwards, and then push to standing up and try to save our balance. Okay? So jump forwards, fall back, push, and stand up. Fall back, push, and stand up. Okay? So I'm setting myself in a path to fall over. Oh. But instead of falling over, I'm pushing with my feet to stand back up. That right there is essentially your bounce back. And that can be the most important skill that you could ever learn, as far as the safety standpoint goes. Also confidence. All right, there you go. That was a crash course in Ukemi for you parkour level 3 guys. It should be all familiar movement to you. It's just reminding you that it's there. So when you're out there training and you're doing your flips and your jumps and your things like that, you have these skills to save your butts when things go wrong. And things, unfortunately, will go wrong. But the sign of a good athlete and the sign of a good parkour athlete is not the skills they know, but their ability to learn and their ability to learn safely. If you guys know somebody that learns things really quickly and then always ends up injured because they mess them up really bad, that's not a good thing, all right? If you know somebody that's steadily progressing and they never really have injuries and they seem to keep getting better, but maybe it's not the fastest progression, but it's still happening, but they never seem to get hurt, that usually means that they're pretty good at this Ukemi stuff and they're practicing smart and safe, okay? And that's what I want to yeah, words. I'm losing them today. All right, so there you go. Ukemi. Practice safe, practice smart, practice falling. It's sometimes the falls are more impressive than the successes. Man, that was going to be a cool sentence, and then I messed up the last word. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in for the Parkour Level 3 live stream. I hope it was informational and not at all boring. Somebody was watching. Thanks for watching, my friend. Who are you? The world will never know. But I do know this. I'll see you on Thursday. Oh, quick, before we go, things to look out for in the future. Zoom classes. We're going to try to do some. We'll see how it works. It means that I can see you and I can give you tips. We can start practicing some more advanced things because I can actually see what you're doing and point out some errors and stuff. 2 is going to be some pre-recorded classes, and we've also got those tutorials. So check out Coach Ellie's tutorials that she's got up online. I think I'm getting a sunburn. Number 3 is going to be some workout classes hosted by me. There will be some full body workouts, targeted body workouts, and a stretching class as well. They were both good. There's going to be 2 classes, stretching and workout. Okay. So keep an eye out for those moving forwards. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for bearing with us through this hard time. I hope this internet learning is working for you. Thank you.